This is The Dana Show. Talk lines are open now at 866-455-9797. This is The Dana Show.
I want everybody to understand, I taught constitutional law for 10 years. I take the Constitution very seriously. The biggest problems that we're facing right now have to do with George Bush trying to bring more and more power into the executive branch and not go through Congress at all. And that's what I intend to reverse when I'm president of the United States of America.
And see, it was the last 2 years of the Bush presidency, beginning in 2007, well, almost last 2 years, beginning in 2007, when then Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, because Democrats controlled the Senate the last 2 years of George Bush's term, when they held continuous pro forma sessions every single time that they didn't have recess. They did it continually to completely circumvent George W. Bush. And then Senator Barack Obama completely supported pro forma sessions led by Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid. And then suddenly now he's completely against them because he wanted to abuse the authority of office. Oh, he sounded as though he was a very, very for executive limits, right? But then when he got into the executive office, to hell with it. He's just going to do what he wants to do. He's going to completely bypass everything that he argued for and claimed that he supported while he was senator. I want to share something so mind-numbingly stupid with you. Do you know how sometimes your dreams seem so real? And you have to check yourself, pinch just to make sure that you didn't daydream and then something completely stupid is happening in your dream. It amazes me. It just amazes me sometimes the limitations of certain human minds. So Sandra Fluke was tweeting about the McCullen v. Coakley decision, the Supreme Court decision that was unanimous, by the way, the 9-0 about the abortion clinic buffer zones, saying that, well, you can't create a buffer zone on public space because it's a violation of the First Amendment. I mean, it's amazing to me. So Sandra Fluke tweets this. Supreme Court decides in McCullen v. Coakley that clinic buffer zones are unconstitutional. One more attack on women's rights. Apparently women don't have free speech rights in front of abortion clinics. And apparently the plaintiff was a woman, so still it's somehow an attack on women's rights. And you had 4 women. Well, 3 women. You had Sotomayor, you had Kagan and Ginsburg, who all said that it is a violation of the First Amendment. Apparently Sandra Fluke doesn't understand the concept of rights, and she just doesn't like it because she just didn't want anybody there in front of abortion clinics. That's all it is. Good grief. Just so idiotic. But this is just completely ignores Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, 3 women on the Supreme Court who are part of the 9-0 decision in the abortion buffer zone case in McCullen v. Coakley. Yes, having the government restrict speech is unconstitutional, and it does affect women, Sandra Fluke. She is so singularly focused. Have you ever seen that SpongeBob episode? Can you see if you can find this, Kevin? I mean, not necessarily, but it's you. And I have kids, so this is why I know about this. And I like SpongeBob because it's like the new Warner Brothers in a way. You remember how Warner Brothers, back when I was a kid, the cartoons were funny, and now everything's just ridiculous. I like smart aleck, irreverent humor. The more irreverent, the better. And there's this episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, where Squidward is trying to impress this dude that he went to school with, who's this guy's a maestro, and Squidward wants to be a maestro, and he wants to show that he's something more than working at the Krabby Patty. And so he enlists SpongeBob in helping him turn the Krabby Patty into this 4-star restaurant, 5-star restaurant, however many stars restaurant, so he can impress this friend of his. So he can say, well, look, I'm running this amazingly cultured and artistic fine dining establishment. So he has SpongeBob come in to help him to be like the server. And he tells SpongeBob, he goes, I want you to forget everything that you know. I only want you to remember breathing and fine dining. And so SpongeBob dumps his mind of everything but breathing and fine dining. And he's an amazing server because all he knows is breathing and fine dining. If you ask him anything unrelated to breathing or fine dining, he will find a way to bring it back to breathing and fine dining. That's all he knows. And at one point, he gets so overloaded with that unrelated to breathing and fine dining that he completely freaks out, melts down in the middle of the restaurant, and Squidward's whole facade is blown. Do you remember that episode, Kevin?
No, I don't watch SpongeBob. I don't have kids. I know. I mean, I've seen an episode, but I don't watch it.
Breathing and fine dining. That is exactly what Sandra Fluke is. It's almost as though Squidward got a hold of her and told her, now, Sandra, I want you to forget everything that you know except breathing and birth control pills. Forget everything that you know except for breathing and birth control pills. So you can't ask her anything aside from breathing and birth control pills. She's like SpongeBob SquarePants. She can't think of anything else. All I know is breathing and birth control pills. That's all I know. Breathing and birth control pills. You ask her about anything else and it all comes back to breathing and birth control pills every single time. Oh, you have the McCullen-Coakley Supreme Court decision about free speech? Sandra Fluke wades in via Twitter. Breathing and birth control. Women's rights birth control. That's what it comes back to every single time. She is the female SpongeBob SquarePants. At least fine dining served a purpose. Quick break.
The Dana Show.
Get more Dana Show at 971talk.com.
This Dana Show podcast brought to you by Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Need service, maintenance, or a new HVAC system? Air Comfort Service works 24/7, keeping area homes and businesses comfortable. If you have a heating and cooling problem, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Dana Lash is off and running, generating the buzz.
All bets are off at this point.
So great to talk to you, Dana. You're my favorite.
Dana, you and I are blood brothers for the American dream.
Dana Lash, the conservative alternative. This is The Dana Show.
This case calls for a true special independent prosecutor who has the ability to issue warrants, to seize materials, to safeguard documents and other information before it goes away and get to the truth.
Yeah, there needs to be a special prosecutor appointed to the IRS situation. We're going to get into that. We're also going to get into the Boss Hogg. If Colonel Sanders and Boss Hogg were opposite sex and had a baby, like if they, one was a man, one was a chick, and they had a baby, it would be Haley Barbour from Mississippi. Don't you think so? I see him and I want chicken. I expect him to hand me a bucket of the Colonel's finest. Is that mean? Or accurate?
No.
There's a difference.
No, it works, too, because he's from the South.
What, are you just saying that Southern people like chicken?
No, it just works. I mean, the Colonel's from the South. He was from Kentucky. It works.
You probably really don't like Haley Barbour because he's from Mississippi, and Kevin has a thing with Mississippi.
No, I haven't
gotten into a bar brawl in Mississippi.
I don't care for him because, of
There's a brawl.
For what he did.
I wish you were on Cops. That would have been like the best episode ever.
No, I don't like him because I saw firsthand what he did to the state of Mississippi and talked to people who live there and all the stuff, after Katrina, how he's kind of left them high and dry. So.
He's for himself.
Yeah.
It's Haley Barbour. I'm Haley Barbour. I met him. Did I tell you I met him once when I was at the RNC? I went to this women's thing. It was at some very nice Bayfront house or whatever. I don't think there's a Bay. I don't know. I was really tired because I was running around everywhere. But I went. It was a women's group, and apparently he somehow got in there to speak. I don't know. And I walked by him, and he grabbed my hand to shake it, and I couldn't tell if those were fingers or if that was Jimmy Dean sausage, which, by the way, is like the breakfast of champions.
Gotta love Jimmy Dean sausage.
Right? My gosh, it's amazing. It's so good. Anyway, he had Jimmy Dean sausage